Intro. Life is chess, not checkers. Imagine you're sitting across from a grandmaster. You make a move without much thought. He smiles, a little too kindly, glances at the board, and replies with a move that flips your entire plan. 3 moves later, you're cooked. This is life, and business, and leadership. That's the central metaphor of your next 5 moves by Patrick Bet-David. Most people play checkers, reactive, short-sighted, trying to stay afloat. Bet-David says if you want to win at the game of life, you need to think 5 moves ahead. Not 1, not 2, 5. Now, don't panic. You don't need a chessboard or a 160 IQ. What you do need is a clear strategy for who you are, what you want, and how you're going to get there, without losing your soul or burning out halfway. This book isn't just for entrepreneurs, though it's been a hit with the startup crowd. It's for anyone who wants to stop winging life and start building it. Deliberately, wisely, like a grandmaster plotting a beautiful checkmate. Move number 1. Know who you are. No, really. Stop guessing. The first move isn't flashy. It's not a new business tactic or productivity hack. It's deep, quiet, and sometimes a little uncomfortable. Bet-David asks, do you know who you are? At first, you might be tempted to brush this off. Of course I know who I am, I'm me. But this isn't about your job title or your Instagram bio. This is about your true identity. What drives you? What keeps you awake at night? Are you a visionary or an operator? A builder or a maintainer? Do you actually want to build an empire or just want freedom and peace? Patrick pushes you to define your DNA. Because if you don't know who you are, you'll chase someone else's dream, build someone else's life, and eventually hate your own success. That's the kind of midlife crisis no sports car can fix. He also talks about understanding your values, not just the ones you say you believe, but the ones you live by. There's a difference between wanting to be rich and being willing to outwork everyone else for 10 years straight. The earlier you get real with yourself, the less painful your journey will be. Move number 2. Clarify your vision, not the Pinterest board kind. Once you know who you are, you need to get razor clear on what you want. Not kind of clear. Not, I want to be successful vague. You need to know what your mountain looks like, how high it is, and why you're even climbing it. Bet-David says a fuzzy vision leads to fuzzy decisions. You'll say yes to things that drain you. You'll follow trends instead of carving paths. You'll get distracted by shiny objects, or worse, by other people's approval. So how do you clarify your vision? Start by defining success on your terms. For some, it's building a billion-dollar empire. For others, it's having time to walk their kids to school every morning. There's no wrong answer, but there is a wrong approach, following someone else's dream without knowing your own. This part of the book feels like a personal therapy session if your therapist were a high-performance entrepreneur who doesn't let you dodge hard questions. Bet-David challenges you to break down your 5-year and 10-year goals, then reverse engineer what it would take to actually get there. Spoiler, it's not just dreaming harder. Move number 3. Strategy, your GPS for the chaos ahead. This is where things start to get spicy. Knowing who you are and what you want is great, but without strategy, you're just a motivated wanderer. Strategy, Bet-David explains, is the GPS that turns your dreams into an actual route. He dives into competitive intelligence, basically, knowing your landscape better than your competitors do. Who else is playing your game? What do they do better than you? What's their blind spot? And where can you win? But it's not just about competition. It's about decision-making. Entrepreneurs, and humans in general, often get decision fatigue because they haven't built a decision-making system. Every choice feels like a coin flip. Bet-David says that smart leaders develop decision filters, mental checklists that guide them through choices with clarity and confidence. And then there's the emotional side of strategy. He talks openly about ego, fear, insecurity, how these invisible enemies hijack your strategy without you even noticing. One of the most powerful lines in the book, if you don't control your emotions, someone else will. Mic drop. So, strategic thinking isn't just logic. It's emotional discipline. It's learning to zoom out, think ahead, and not let your mood dictate your moves. Move number 4, building the right team. Hint, you can't do it alone. Here comes the big leadership piece. Once your personal clarity and strategy are in place, it's time to build your army, or your Avengers team. Whatever works for you. Bet David says, don't just hire skills, hire soldiers who believe in your mission. That might sound intense, but he's got a point. The difference between a good team and a great one isn't IQ or resumes. It's alignment, shared vision, loyalty to the mission, hunger. He's brutally honest here. You'll attract people based on who you are. If you're lazy, you'll attract lazy. If you're half-hearted, so is your team. But if you're obsessed with growth, disciplined, and unshakably clear on your vision, your team will rise to meet you. Bet David also breaks down hiring, onboarding, developing talent, and, yes, firing when needed. One tough love lesson: keeping the wrong person on your team out of loyalty can sink your whole ship. A hard truth, but a necessary one. He talks about culture as well, not the we have beanbags and free snacks kind, but the kind that drives behavior. The kind where people hold each other accountable and grow together. It's less fluff, more fire. Move number 5, mastering power plays, the art of influence and timing. Now we're entering Game of Thrones territory, but with fewer dragons. This final move is about understanding power, not in a manipulative or shady way, but as a tool to get big things done without getting crushed. Bet David dives into negotiation, persuasion, positioning, and timing. He gives examples from both business and history, how powerful people think, speak, and move differently. They don't act impulsively. They don't argue just to win. They choose battles, build alliances, and know when to walk away. One particularly powerful section is on timing. Knowing when to make a move is just as important as the move itself. Launch too early and you flop. Wait too long and someone else eats your lunch. Bet David also talks about credibility. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if people don't believe you, you're invisible. Influence isn't just about being loud. It's about being trusted. And this move, the final one, ties back to the first. If you don't know who you are, power will corrupt you. But if you're grounded, humble, and strategic, power becomes a tool, not a trap. Real talk. Patrick's backstory makes it all real. Throughout the book, Bet David weaves in his own story. A refugee from Iran who grew up in the US with nothing. He wasn't handed success. He built it. From dropping out of college to starting a financial firm to becoming a media entrepreneur, his journey is proof that these moves aren't just theories. They work. And unlike some business books that feel like they're written in a tower by someone who's never left a boardroom, this one feels street smart. It's raw, honest, and filled with lessons that came from real bruises, not just Harvard case studies. Final thoughts. The game board is yours. Play it smart. Your next 5 moves isn't about being perfect. It's about being prepared. Life, business, relationships, they're all games of strategy. And if you're only thinking 1 move ahead, you're at the mercy of people who are thinking 5. Patrick Bet David doesn't pretend that success is easy, but he does show that it's possible if you're willing to think, plan, and execute like a grandmaster. So what's your next move? Whether you're building a business, changing careers, launching a side hustle, or just trying to stop living paycheck to paycheck, this book gives you a blueprint to move with purpose. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway of all. Your life is a series of moves. Make them count.